What would you do if your school was sucked into a void by one of your own classmates, trapping only the students in it? That is this story on the surface. However, there are many smaller stories and life lessons told along the way, and I have tried my best to explain everything. Some parts may still confuse you though, so I have added a little summary at certain points to explain the meaning. Sit back and enjoy the story of Sonny Boy. Our main character Nagara is woken up by a girl called Nozumi. A group of delinquents are playing a ball game with their superpowers and they are breaking windows. Nozumi asks if Nagara has superpowers and he says he doesn't. She looks outside and it's pitch dark, revealing that their school is in an isolated void of darkness. Whilst Cap is using the toilet, another window is smashed, which annoys him. He tells his friend Hoishi that they must do something as they are part of the student council. Hoishi tells him that he has a plan to sort everything out by making rules with penalties. Nagara and Nozumi theorize how they vanished, but Nozumi is distracted by something she claims to see in the void. Nagara doesn't see this, however this is foreshadowing something later. The whole class gets invited to a group chat, where the student council sends a message to try and gain control over everyone. They calm everyone down with the hope of rescue, but tells them to vote for a leader. Cap wins this vote to become the leader, but he initially refuses it as he doesn't believe he's worthy. Hoishi reassures him that the job is perfect for him. Nagara and Nozumi are chatting about weird events that happened before disappearing, but they are interrupted as Nagara was meant to be on cleaning duty. He didn't receive this message as he ignored the group chat invite. The guide tells them about the rules. No superpowers in the school, everyone has to do their job, but he's interrupted before he can finish. A delinquent called Azakaze complains about the no power rules to Cap. They insult him, which angers him, resulting in him using his powers, which makes cracks in the world. He starts to break several windows, so Cap points at him and shouts, "Penalty!" putting a black cross on his face. He's now being forced to do intense long division, and Hoishi commends his leader skills. Cap approaches Nozumi next and gives her a phone as she doesn't have one. She takes the phone and throws it onto the ground, breaking it as she refuses to follow his rules. It is revealed that breaking school property is against the rules, so Cap gives her a penalty. Having run 100 laps around the school, she now lays covered in sweat with a black cross on her face. She can also still see something no one else can. The delinquents start to grow restless with the new rules. A guy called Rajdani theorizes that time doesn't move whilst they're in the void and links everything to a storm that happened. To his shock, he can see that the school is sinking. A flashback shows Nagara with his tutor and he's worried about his mental health. He goes to the roof of the school to meet Nozumi, where she's ripping up a textbook. She tries to talk to him, but he avoids it and tries to leave. The door is locked and she presses him to talk to her instead of running away, but they're interrupted by a storm. Cap, now filled with ego, patrols the hallways with a bat. Out of nowhere, the school begins to fall into pieces. The student council is trapped, revealing that Azakaze and his buddies are behind this, and they want to take over the school. They vanish and appear behind him, showing that they have the superpower of teleportation. Cap starts giving out penalties, forcing them to do exercise. Azakaze taunts Cap, but when he tries to give him a penalty, it doesn't work, as he didn't break any of the rules. Angered, having lost control, he smacks him in the head with his bat, causing him to bleed from his head. Having broken the rules, Hoishi now gives Cap a penalty, where he strips naked and starts hopping around the school. Azakaze now tries to attack Hoishi, but he shows everyone a nightmare of them growing old and dying in the school. This results in everyone freaking out. Nozumi claims to see the thing again. She begins to stretch and yap, before running and jumping off the school. As she begins to fall, Nagara catches her, but he loses his handle, causing them both to fall into the void. The scene changes and the duo falls into an ocean. The other students are chilling outside in the courtyard, and Nozumi is amazed by the large green mountains. Yeah, this is a pretty confusing anime so far, but I think the first message is that trying to create order will always lead to chaos, or at least with kids it does. The writer might have gotten the idea from the novel Lord of the Flies. Nagara sees a girl called Mizuho watching a tree burn with a bright blue flame. Azakaze comes back from searching for any other signs of life, and unfortunately, the only thing he found was a seemingly endless supply of ocean. Rajdani explains to the others that they have entered another universe. He calls these mysterious universes these worlds. He has also been sending SOS signals for over a month now with no replies. Losing hope of someone coming to save them, he believes that there is a gateway somewhere that will lead them to another D's world, which can eventually lead them home. In the school, no matter what happens, everything will go back to normal, but on the island, everything is normal, if that makes sense. Hence, he believes that the school and the island are separate D's worlds. A girl steals a lipstick from Mizuho, but she sees it, and later while she is using it, it sets on fire with a blue flame. This results in the entire house burning down. Nagara is asking Mizuho when their supplies will come in, as she has the power to get anything she wants. She says it will take about 3 days. He also tries to confront her about the tree burning earlier, but she dismisses him. She finds that one of her beloved cats are missing as well. Another fire starts whilst they are building a new house, and Nagara tells the others that Misaho might have something to do with it as he saw her staring at a burning tree. Now realizing everything that Misaho gives the others with her powers sets on fire, they demand an explanation. They throw everything that Misaho gave to them in a hole. The student council confronts her outside her house and threatens her to come clean to whether or not she is causing all the fires on purpose. Rajdhani did some research into the fires, and he figures out that the stuff that they earned or paid for doesn't set on fire, but stuff given away for free will set on fire by itself. It is concluded that it's another one of these world's rules. Some delinquents angry at Misaho smashes some of her windows, resulting in her bleeding from her head. She blames the student council for this, angering her, so she uses her powers to make it rain money. This results in a huge fire erupting. Nagara finds and saves Misaho's cat to apologize for making the others not trust her. He finds her and says sorry before returning her cat. The entire island has been burnt to ashes. However, in a few minutes everything resets, revealing that the island is also in a time loop. She finally explains herself to the others and storms off a bit mad. Rajdhani explains the new rule of the island of having to pay for stuff. He sets up an online payment system to get around the new rule. Nozomi tells the others that her power is the ability to see the way out of these worlds in the form of a light. The meaning of this part right now is that nothing is free in life, and you should work hard to get stuff. Nozomi's light leads to a toilet, and they push Nagara into it. He floats around with giant monsters surrounding him, but Azuki and Nozomi saves him. They report back to Rajdhani, and they reveal that he's found 13 portals so far. Azakaze has tried to go to Nozomi's light, but no matter how far he travels, it remains the same distance away, so it is concluded that the light is in another dimension. Last week a student went missing, and they found a black statue of him. Everyone makes fun of him as nobody even cared about him when he was around. Misaho and Nagara had chosen to investigate what's happening. Misaho gets close to the statue and can hear he's live streaming. They find another statue and he's working out. They go around asking questions about the statue people, and they all have one thing in common. They were all irrelevant losers. Nagara asks Misaho about her cats, and she reveals that they were her grandmother's, and she had their powers before the school went into void. Hoshi is seen in the school, and he hears a weird voice. Misaho then confronts and questions him about his powers. He reveals that his powers are a voice that tells him the future, so he knew that they were going to be sent into the void before it actually happened. Later, Azakaze tells Nagara that him and Nozomi doesn't need him anymore to find the portals, and he just accepts it. Another statue is found sitting on a tree, and whilst they're investigating it, a gust of wind blows the background away, revealing it's just a curtain. They pull it down, showing large black curtains. They find all of the statue students one by one, and each one of them preferred to live inside the black curtains over the real world. They report back to the others, and Nagara and Misui argue over how they should get the statues to turn back to normal. Miso insults Nagara's and Nozomi's relationship, and Nagara calls her out on it, causing her to storm off. Now speaking to Nozomi, she reveals that Azakaze hasn't found a single portal in days, and they actually do need him. Using a massive fan, he blows away the massive black curtains. He concludes that another rule is that those who are excluded are removed. They destroy the curtains, and this turns the students back to normal. Nagara and Mizuho both apologize to each other and make up. Rajdhani and Nozomi find it extremely lucky that Nagara found the black curtain portal, and conclude that his power is the ability to leap into new worlds, and he creates the portals himself. The moral here is that you shouldn't exclude people. Everyone is playing in a small pool that Nagara created. Initially hesitant, someone pushes Nagara into it, however he's going to miss the pool. Azakaze is about to save him, but Nozomi holds him back. He wakes up back in his normal world and sees a scary monkey before waking up again, surprising everyone. Whilst eating, they chat about how Nagara sent them back to a normal world for a moment and urge him to try again. Cap joins them and tells Nagara to play baseball with him. He reveals they made a baseball pitch. The next day they are playing baseball, and Cap tells them about the Monkey Baseball League. It was created after someone gifted the monkeys a rulebook and baseball equipment. Now invested, the squad wants to see the monkeys. Cap tells them that they need a flashlight to be able to see them. They find Ace, who has the flashlight, and he tells them that he'll only give it to them if they can beat him in a baseball match. Whilst Nagara is training, it is clear that he's not good at baseball. Cap tells the story of the monkeys having a perfect game, and on the last throw of the game, the world shifts, ruining the perfect game. The audience complains, saying that doesn't count, but the umpire, also known as the referee, stays strong on his decision. This results in the crowd rioting and attacking the umpire, killing him. Now playing against Ace, they are getting destroyed. When Nagara is up, he doesn't even try to hit the ball. This angers Ace, so he throws the balls directly at his head. He reveals that it was him who trained the monkeys to play baseball. Before he's about to swing, he sees the umpire that was killed. He had one arm and became an umpire to make the game more fair. However, he still misses and loses the match. Cap talks about how he lost his love for baseball as he wasn't born with a talent, and everyone took the game way too seriously. However, seeing the monkeys having fun with the game brought his love back. Nagara now tries to teleport everyone home. However, he just teleports them to a bunch of random empty worlds. He brings them back to the island and they see a teacher approaching from the ocean. The message here is to be more like Monkey. The squad is exploring anew these worlds and discovers a mouse that seems to unravel things it meets. The teacher, Miss Aki, tells everyone that the people had their powers before they vanished, and putting a few dots together, they now believe that Nagara was the one who trapped them here. They plug the mouse into a computer and it solves something. We are shown many other magical items and Miso tries on a pair of glasses that makes everyone look old. Nagara is sat in the front of a crowd and they begin to hurl insults and accusations. Hoshi stands up against the crowd, but they all decide to leave and go back to Miss Aki. While sitting alone, Miss Aki and her gang approaches Nagara. She says his ability is escape, which dragged everyone with him when he left the old world. A girl tries to strike him with lightning, but he teleports everyone to a new world. He is pushed to the ground and told to leave everyone alone. He accepts this and runs away. He is now seen laying on the floor crying and missing home, until a mysterious voice tells him to get up and that there is still hope. Now sitting on a burnt beach, Nozumi and friends approach him. They lecture him for not fighting back and tell him to stop running away, to which he agrees. Najdani notices that the island looks very familiar and figures out that this is the first island that burnt down. He concludes that his power isn't just teleportation. No, his power is the ability to create new worlds at will. They are in a movie theatre, but all of the movies are from Nagara's point of view. Miss Aki and her gang are angry that Nagara escaped them. A dog jumps onto Nagara and speaks English to him. Miso introduces the dog as Yamabiko, and she found him randomly. He was also a student from the same school that randomly started drifting through worlds. He says that he started drifting after them, and he's been drifting for over 5,000 years. How is this possible, you may ask? That's because he is from the future. Rajdani shows Nagara that if they edit the films, it affects real life. However, it only works whilst Nagara is watching. Miss Aki and Azakaze become close so she can manipulate him. They find a clip of their past, and this gives them the idea that they can edit themselves back into the real world again, and Nagara is tasked to complete this mission. The student council builds a Noah's Ark to keep everyone safe, as they believe that escaping is possible. A voice tells Hoshi to save everyone through the Ark, and after putting a red rock inside, it activates the Ark. He starts driving it through the planet. The world starts changing, so everyone now believes that Nagara has saved them. He finishes the edit, and Nozumi claims that the light is right in front of them. They are flashed back into the normal world, and Nozumi tries to touch someone, but she phases right through them. Nagara also sees himself. Nozumi sees that she is dead in this world. All the students now see themselves, which makes them realize that they have no world to return to. Back at the island, everyone now feels defeated. This makes Nozumi question what the light really was. The message here is that you can't change your past. Miss Aki, who is now revealed to be a student, starts to preach against Nagara, calling him evil and the reason why everyone is trapped. She sends an umbrella person to go after him. Nagara checks up on Rajdani, only to find him crazily observing ants. He takes his ants away to set them free. On his way through the forest, the umbrella follows him. The umbrella leads him to a pull-up bar, and he goes on it. Gravity is flipped, which sends him flying into the sky. He is awoken by a strange guy out called Jeff. A manager confronts Nagara for slacking off, but Jeff covers for him. Jeff tells him that their job is bringing bricks down the stairs. Whilst he is eating, he overhears others gossip about how Nagara was the one who started all of the drifting. But luckily no one knows who he is. Jeff sits beside him and briefs him on the job. He says they are building up to heaven to escape, and are also finding treasure along the way. They sleep in poor crowded conditions. The next day at work, he questions why they are taking bricks down and not up, but no one really knows why. They are given their paychecks, so Jeff takes them out to celebrate. At the bar, a waitress tells them about the shooting stars in a cave. That night, they can't fall asleep, so they decide to go out looking for the shooting stars. After a while, Nagara loses hope that the shooting stars are real, but Jeff tells him to keep his faith even if they never find it. They eventually find the shooting stars, but Nagara gets a flashback to Rajdani explaining how the lights are trapped to lure in prey. Unfortunately, it is too late, and Jeff is eaten by the creature. I called him Jeff because he gets killed off extremely quickly. The next day at work, Nagara starts bringing the bricks up the stairs, which shocks the others. A manager confronts him and sends him to the boss. At the boss's office, he turns the world upside down to reach the top. He finds the umbrella guy who explains to Nagara that the world is just a big hole that he flipped upside down using his powers. He did this to give the people something to work towards, and make them hopeful for the future. The umbrella guy explains to Miss Aki that he believes that Nagara is a good guy, and punishing him is wrong. Rajdani built a boat, and is now going on a journey to explore more of these worlds. He gives Nagara some monkey fur before leaving. The message here is to have hope in something, and forgiveness as well. Yamabiko is now telling his backstory. He speaks about a girl who had the superpower to control everything she touched. She gave the others hope at the time. Unfortunately, an illness hit them, giving those infected tumors that grew rapidly, and unfortunately, she could not cure their illness. She became extremely ill herself, and Yamabiko turned into a dog to comfort her. We see before that he was wandering around by himself, until they eventually went to sleep on the floor. A girl called Kodama woke him up and took him under her wing. She gave him a nice bed and a warm meal. They began to bond with each other and grew really close together. A man in the cave is spotted and says Kodama looks disgusting. The duo chat and believe that the strange man is the cause of the disease. She says she wants to help him, and Yamabiko agrees, even though he really thinks it's a mistake. The disease is getting worse, and eventually someone turns fully into a crystal. She confronts the man, and he agrees that he did cause the disease. He shows off his medals that he got for killing people. He says the disease is incurable, and lets her know that something else is also causing the disease. Yamabiko talks to the man as well, and he tells him that he was the key to curing the disease, as he made the world. The only cure for the disease was for Yamabiko to escape his mental cage. When everyone else has been taken out by the disease, Kodama tells him to fly away. She eventually passes away, and he begins to regret not saving her earlier. The moral here is to be open and honest. Miso's cats begin to chat amongst themselves. They complain about having too much work. A flashback shows her in her grandmother's house, and the cats seem to have always been watching out for Misoho. A student called So confronts the gang, and he tells them about a war he has with his twin. They then go to the twin Seiji, and he tells them that the fight is over him having an extra strand of hair. When the twins start fighting, the sky turns red. They start a sumo fight, and using their powers called Reverse, they restart the world. Nagara finds a book, and realizes that the twins is actually one person called So Seiji, so he's been fighting himself this whole time. While Sakura the cat is talking, Yamabiko overhears and confronts her, and it works by copying stuff from the original world. The cat has the power copycat. Haha. Sakura explains that Rajdani figured out their secret earlier. He did this by getting the cats to get a copy of a video game he made. When they gave it to him, he now has 2 copies even though he only made 1. He puts some of the dots together and links this to everyone drifting. He now believes that the cats copied everyone from the real world and brought them here. Instead of sharing this potentially dangerous information, he decided to go on a boat trip adventure. Sakura finds a piece of fish, but it's revealed to be a trap. Now locked in a cage, So approaches her. She's later seen laying unconscious on the stone whilst the twins begin their fight. He shoots his twin in the chest, turning him into sand, and the gang come to rescue Sakura. Feeling empty with winning his battle, he shoots the gun at himself. The message here is not to fight over meaningless things, and cats are pretty cool. A strange man tells Miss Aki and Azekaze to kill War as he is a danger to all life. A small group set out to find and kill War. They all gather on the cliff, but Nozumi falls off and Azekaze doesn't save her. Unfortunately, Nozumi ends out dying, so Nagara and the others set up a funeral for her. 2,000 years later, they find Rajdani, and they share plans on how to get home. They all agree on a plan and begin to build something. Rajdani tells the story of a guy who wanted to create death. He committed evil experiments to figure out how to do it. It was a chair, and Rajdani found it. The chair worked by making the person accept all their imperfections, creating peace, or in other words, death. He says he doesn't want to join the others on their way home. Having talked to the others, only Nagara and Mizuru want to go home. The plan is built to be a rocket ship going into space. The duo suits up and gets ready for their trip. They say their final goodbyes to Rajdani and the animals. The rockets launch into the sky successfully, hurling the duo into space. Nagara is seen back in the normal world. He goes to his lessons, then the supermarket. He is seen standing outside in the rain and spots Mizuho. He tries to talk to her, but she does not remember him. He is then seen at his job as a waiter, and his boss is verbally and physically abusing him. He later spots Nozumi, but she walks right past him, confirming that she also does not remember him. Eating a ready meal alone, he debates whether or not everything was just a dream. However, in his drawer, he finds a compass belonging to Nozumi, confirming that everything he experienced was real. We see that at the end of the journey, they are approached by Azekaze. He tells them that life on the outside will still be as boring as before, but Nagara says he will live his new life with a better outlook, gaining Azekaze's approval. Nagara and Mizuho eventually reach a bright room, which transports them back home. We see Mizuru and Nagara meet again, but this time she calls out for Nagara and mentions Rajdani. The duo now sits together and chat about their crazy experience. Noticing that Nagara is still depressed, she tells him that life is in his hands and that he shouldn't be too focused on what he cannot control. That wraps up this anime, and I think the moral of the story is to move on from your past. This was by far my most difficult video to make yet, due to the complex nature of the anime. Feel free to leave any thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.
You must not leave this place.
But you didn't say we can't leave here. I know we'll be okay. Let's go.